British came to India at the start of the 18th century. In 1786, Lord Cornwallis became British Governor of India. He strengthened the Sepoy armies. Also under Cornwallis and his successor Lord Wellesley, the British slowly expanded their holdings. The British also aggravated the Hindu population of India. They made English instead of Persian the official language. August 2, 1858, the British Parliament passed the Government of India. This act transferred authority for India to Queen Victoria. British women began to go to India and the British developed their own society in India. More and more British goods were imported to India, effectively destroying many Indian crafts. After World War II, the British government decided that it could no longer afford to resist Indian demands for independence. As violence between these two groups started to spiral out of control, Britain decided that the only solution was a partition or division of the subcontinent into a Muslim-majority Pakistan and a Hindu-majority India. The new nations of Pakistan and India gained independence on August 15, 1947.
Mahatma Gandhi was born in Porbandar in the present-day state of Gujarat, in India on October 2, 1869. He was raised in a very conservative family that had affiliations with the ruling family of Kathiawar. He was educated in law at University College London. In 1891, after having been admitted to the British Bar, Gandhi returned to India and attempted to establish a law practice in Bombay, without much success. 2 years later, an Indian firm with interests in South Africa retained him as legal advisor in its office in Durban. Arriving in Durban, Gandhi found himself treated as a member of an inferior race. He was appalled at the widespread denial of civil liberations and political rights to Indian immigrants to South Africa. He threw himself into the struggle for elementary rights for Indians. In 1930, in order to help free India from British control, Mahatma Gandhi proposed a non-violent march protesting the British salt tax, continuing Gandhi's plea for civil disobedience. The salt tax essentially made it illegal to sell or produce salt, allowing a complete British monopoly. Since salt is necessary in everyone's daily diet, everyone in India was affected. The salt tax made it illegal for workers to freely collect their own salt from the coast of India, making them buy salt they couldn't really afford.
Hindus and Muslims still live side by side in many cities and rural areas. As soon as the new borders became known, millions of Hindus on the Pakistan side of the borders packed up their belongings and fled to the new India. At the same time, millions of Muslims fled into newly created Pakistan. An estimated 10 million people fled their homes, most of them on foot. Muslims fleeing along the crowded roads into Pakistan were slaughtered by Hindus and Sikhs. Muslims massacred Hindu and Sikh neighbors. Around 1 million people died in these massacres. Others died of starvation and exposure on the road. After independence, India and Pakistan fought a war over Kashmir, a state in the Himalayas with Muslim and Hindu populations. Its Hindu ruler sought to join India, even though much of the state's Muslim majority wanted to be a part of Pakistan. In 1949, India and Pakistan agreed to stop fighting. The peace between the two nations was very short. In 1965, Pakistan and India fought another war over Kashmir and have had several clashes since then. Over the years, Muslim Kashmiri separatists, supported by militants from neighboring Pakistan, have fought Indian troops. Indian forces in turn have attacked Muslim Kashmiris. Prior to the year 1972, Sri Lanka was known as Ceylon. For more than a century, Sri Lanka was a British crown colony, but on February 4, 1948, the country achieved its independence to officially become the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. East Pakistan was later renamed Bangladesh. From the beginning, West Pakistan tended to dominate the nation's government, even though East Pakistan had a larger population. In 1971, Bengalis declared independence for East Pakistan under the new name of Bangladesh, or Bengali Nation. In 1970, India launched a program to develop nuclear weapons, having their first test explosion in 1974. India tested the first actual nuclear weapon in 1998, and Pakistan responded that same year with their own tests. The emergence of these two new and hostile nuclear powers in South Asia alarmed the rest of the nations in Asia and all around the world. India is the largest democracy in the world. The Prime Minister of India is the head of the government. while the President of India is the formal head of state. Federal legislative power is vested in both the government and the two chambers of the Parliament of India. India is the largest state by population with a democratically elected government. For the most of the years since independence, the federal government had been led by Indian National Congress. Pakistan's independence was won through a democratic and constitutional struggle. Although the country's record with parliamentary democracy has been mixed, Pakistan, after lapses, has returned to this form of government. The Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, adopted in 1985, provides for a federal parliamentary system with the president as head of state and a popularly elected prime minister as head of government.